I think they're actually jumping down here. That's too steep for me. The most popular place to eat čevapi is here. See the whole old town? I mean, you see most of Split from here. And this place we see here is my personal favorite place to go in Split. So if you don't get food while you're in Split, it's your own fault. Hi everyone, time for another video. We are now standing down at the Riva in Split. Today we are going to show you how Split, the old town, the seaside, promenade, the Riva, and other parts around the center of the town looks, you know, when there's a lot of people. So please follow me around on this walking trip in this area. Let's go. And all this area where we're walking now, it used to be 50 years back. There actually used to be a road here and cars could drive here. But of course it's been upgraded several times since. I think last time maybe 15 years ago, where they redid everything and put in all the benches you have here. So you really have a nice place to sit and relax and enjoy the sea down here. And all the way to the right over here, along the old town, you have restaurants, coffee bars, all the way down to the end. And out here you see along the water, you have all these booths. You can book all kinds of sailing trips to islands around or outside of Split here. So plenty of stuff to do in this area. And it seems like they are preparing for some kind of race. And it's now around 3 p.m. Of course, if you come here later in the evening, it's going to be way more full than now, because still there's a lot of people enjoying the beaches. But as we can do that every day, we are not necessarily there every day. There's definitely going to be some run or race of some kind here. Whoosh! Birdie, birdie. Whoosh! The old town is basically, we walked along that one. We're going to visit that one later in the video. Now we're going to continue out the west coast. I'm going to show you that one. And then I have a few other ideas which we might also manage. And you can get with the car to both ends of the Riva. Basically where we started the video was next to the main parking at the down here in the center. And of course you can also get over to this part with the car, but this one is a little bit more hassle. There's supermarkets, so you can definitely do that. And here on the other side of the marina, the pier, which goes out along this small marina here, is called Matojuska. And that one, I'm told, is very popular in the evening, that people go down there and sit and enjoy and maybe have a high protein drink or something similar. Now the rules are in the old town, I think it's the closing time at 1 or at midnight? 1 o'clock is basically everything closes in the old town. If you've seen some of the videos on my channel, you saw, you know, we had a video we probably some time ago where we walked through the ferry port, but here you can see it from the other side. All the ferries there parked, so quite a big port, lots of traffic going on here, lots of travel options. 8, maybe 10 years back, this looked completely different, and there was not many people using this except for getting back and forward. Nowadays it's completely different after they made it new. Now, as you will see when we walk out here, there's coffee bars, restaurants and all this stuff, so much more lively now. And here's the hotel ambassador they was building on that, so this also made this area much more lively. Pasta, which is a coffee bar, but also you can also get food here. They're pretty good pizzas. When the old West Coast was here, it was not that common that we had big luxury yachts, but now since they made all this new, it's more and more common to see. I mean, now there's only one, but during the summer there would be days where you have 10, 15 of these really big ones lined up down here. So if you're into checking out super yachts or quite big yachts, you should definitely be able to see some of them here. And the construction site you see here to the right used to be a hotel which was not working the last 25, 30 years. They started the reconstruction maybe 15 years back. Then there was a long break where they didn't do anything, and then maybe was it last year they finished tearing it down and then they started building it up again. I think now it's going to become one of the big hotel chains is going to have their hotel here. So I'm not sure when it's scheduled to be finished, but it doesn't look like it's going to be tomorrow. So probably sometime next year, I would guess. Another nice one. And of course out here at the end, we have one of the marinas in Split. This is the RCE Marina Split. You have a lot of charter yachts going out here from this marina. And in case you are not in as good shape as we are, you know, you can stop halfway out here, relax a bit before you continue. You can get, for sure, you can get čevapi here. If you haven't tried that and you're going to Split, this should be on your list. Straight out here, we are not going to do that, but if you do that, you, as I said, you're going to get to the Forest Park Mardian, but before that you also have two very popular beaches, Castellet and Casciuni. So you could actually walk out to them, but might be a bit easier to take the bus, Uber, or a city bike. So park is here, also recently got an upgrade. Playgrounds, you have green areas where you can lie down, you have benches, sit down, there's a dog park at the end. So great place to hang out. So now we're at Sustipan, which offers nice shade. There's a small church here, and that one is still in use. See lots of people here on Sundays. And I think they're actually jumping down here. That's too steep for me. No thanks. No thanks. But basically this park and the other park we saw just before, when it's not so much summer, when it gets a little bit more reasonable temperature, lots of people use these parks for birthdays, for playing ball games, for all kinds of relaxed activities. So really, really popular. I see here, you can see the cliffs here, how steep they are, and I've seen people jumping from various places up here, but I would definitely not recommend that unless you're really skillful in doing that stuff. It's a bit dangerous. Nice. Now we're gonna head back towards the center of town, and I think the next thing we're gonna visit is Vidilica. I think you're gonna like that one. So let's go. We're gonna now go to the viewpoint above the city. So we're gonna go behind Hotel Ambassador. So, pro tip, Prokurative, great place. If you're looking for a pizza, have excellent pizzas, and they have excellent cocktails. And it's very popular, so you probably need to reserve. Anyway, two things here before we continue. First of all, I wanted to show you, look at the nice small houses here built into the stone. I think some of them is actually apartments for rent, so that could be a tip. No, this is something which opened this year. It's the info center for the Prokurative, and basically I think in there you can buy tickets. They have a mini train which drives up to the forest park, so if you don't feel like walking, I think you can fix the ticket here, and I'm pretty sure that the train would leave either here or up next to Sustipan. Oh, it's coming there, yeah. Let's see if he continues or if he turns around. No, he continues. Yeah. As you see the sign up here, Marian. So we're gonna have to climb a few stairs. And you basically just follow the sign here, saying Marian. The only thing with these stairs, they have such an annoying height. At least when you have longer legs. We have an intruder here. He malo. We were just discussing if anybody actually counted all the stairs, but we're not sure that anybody did. We couldn't find anything online that it said how many, but definitely way above 100, just to get up to the Vidilica platform. But it's also because these steps are totally weird in the height. Viewing platform, Vidilica. So, but basically from here, see the whole old town. I mean, you see most of Split from here. Ferry port, everything. You can of course go further up. You can go to the top of Marian, where there's also a viewing platform, but you can't, there's only a few benches up there. But that one have an even better view. I think maybe now we are in elevation of, what should we guess, 60 meters, something like that. And the top one is in 170 meters. If you walk straight here, this is the path up to Marian. It takes you on the south side around the Marian. And if you keep going on this one, you get up to the observatory where you can crawl up. I don't know how far it is from here, but I would say roughly 2 kilometers or something like that. So quite a bit of a walk. But there's also other ways you can take. Of course, you can first, you should do is of course sit here, have a coffee, gather some strength, and you can also have a bite to eat here. Once you've done that, figure out which way you would take, either the one I showed you, or you have next to this is a Jewish cemetery, by the way. Next to the Jewish cemetery here, you have another path going up, which you can follow here, but that one is a little bit less comfortable because you have these kind of, the path looks like this with the stones, so it's a little bit more tricky walking on. So if you want the most comfortable way, I would take the one over there, the one we saw first. So we're gonna skip the coffee today. That's almost a crime, but we're gonna do it anyway. And we're gonna walk back down to the center. I forgot to mention, you saw cars were here, so you could, of course, if you don't like walking up here, you can take Uber, taxi, tuk-tuk, bicycle, whatever, and get very close to Vidilica here. And basically where we are now walking now is the city part Varoš. Probably you noticed on the footage there's a lot of apartments here. So if you're looking for a place to stay fairly close to the old town Split, this is a good bet, this city part. And you see now the restaurant start, which means we are very close to the center. Some people started eating. I don't know if is it late lunch or early dinner. So now we're down at Spearun. Here you can of course walk also this way or this way that we are gonna take now. Breakfast place from 8 to 12. I think this one had I didn't try it, but it had really good reviews. I saw. Yeah. So definitely it's up. It's on my list. So as you see now, we are back. We have the Riva in front of us, so that's basically where we were early on. We are not going back there. We are just gonna go a little bit in this direction. Wow. Okay, this is a crowded next bike station. So I just wanted to show you this square. It's called Prokurative, which is also a great place in the evening with quite a few restaurants, as you will see. And also from time to time there's events taking place here. And this part on the left side here is basically a hotel. At least the top part is a hotel. I can't recall the name, Bellevue or something like that. But unfortunately, it's not in mint condition, I would say. And we're gonna go this way. The one we see in front of us, which is called Čevapi. Great one. Eating a nice meal don't have to be expensive. Here you can definitely get a nice čevapi meal in a nice piece of bread with some aiva, kaimak, onions. So that's one option. We are not in the old town now, we're just outside of the old town. So the most popular place to eat čevapi is here, Canton Paulina. As you see, they don't have much seating. You basically go, you grab your čevapi in a bread, walk with it, eat it. If you're not one of the lucky ones to get a place outside. It's not busy now. Now there's only a few people, but you will see if you pass by here a few times when you're in Split that many times there's a line of people standing and wait simply because it's a good product they're selling and it's really cheap. But in general, definitely in this street here, you have a lot of kind of fast food, kind of semi-fast food places where you can get a meal for a reasonable amount. If you don't want to sit in a restaurant, if you just want some food. It's a kebab place here. There was a sandwich place we also passed. And now we have a truck. And if you continue up here to the left, where this small truck went, you also have several food places up in that direction, several coffee bars, but we're not gonna go there now. This one is also new. That was last year, it wasn't there. So they really pop up everywhere. I don't know if you can hear the music. Maybe you heard a little bit music. That's basically because we are walking next to the main theater in Split. And actually, I've been in there a few times for different, performances. And generally what I hear from people, they are quite impressed when they go here in the theater. So if you're in Split and wanna, do some more cultural stuff, go and check it out here. They have a program running the whole summer there's opera, there's other kinds of different concerts, theater, there are various things on the program during the whole summer, basically the whole year. So, and it's fairly cheap, so definitely something to consider if you like that kind of stuff. So now we are on Marmontova, the main, what we call pedestrian street in Split. And basically on the left side of it, you have the whole Old Town area, where we're gonna go in a little bit later. But here you have some shops, although I must say that more and more of them are turned into, touristic things or restaurants and bars. And here I have to show you something. I know lots of people don't agree that I should say these things, but I have to say it. You have a really good restaurant hidden behind a stone there called Maslina. So you walk up next to the house and the stone wall, and then they have a courtyard in there, and they serve pizza, but also some traditional dishes. So very good place to go. And this place we see here is my personal favorite place to go in Split. Really great food. And here to my right is Harrods Irish pub. It's gonna be packed every evening, basically most of the year. See, now it looks cool how it's painted, the Riva, the fish market. I don't know from when the building is, but probably beginning of this century, something like that. So we're gonna go this way into the old town. And of course, to my right, another pub, which I think is better to visit outside of the main season because it's so warm in there. We're gonna go this way around. Then we're gonna do a ride here. Yamat. So if you saw my video about very specifically only walked around in the part which was historically the palace, you would probably recognize the tower here, which is the Venetian tower, which was something we also had in that video. So if there's a bit of overlapping, apologize for that. On my right side is the Riva, where we walked at the beginning. Let's go this way. Maybe we go this way, yeah. Oh. Ah, there's people sitting and eating up here. Oh. The old town looks like a labyrinth, so we of course are gonna add a map in the video so you can see where we walked around, just for you to get a feeling. And now we are coming up to Vestibul, which is of course a part which was inside the palace. Oh. And because of the acoustic, which we just heard, somebody gave a nice test. Because of the good acoustic, there's concerts more or less every evening where you have traditional klapper, basically a cappella singing, groups standing in here in the vestibule and giving a performance. And here you can, of course, go up to the cathedral like we did in, like I did in the video I have about the palace. We're gonna go this way towards the Silver Gate. Oh, I could eat an ice cream. You? Now we had a short stop to get an ice cream. That's of course obligatory when you walk around here in the summer. We're gonna go a little bit further this way. I just want basically everywhere where you see a small street, you can head in and you will find hidden restaurants, in courtyards, in so many places. But we are gonna head up here where it says toilets, not because we're going there, but at least in this direction. We're gonna turn this way, left here. Another courtyard. Two different restaurants here, one on this side. And here is a place I like to go and eat porters. Really nice place. They also redid it inside. And now we're just gonna go out a little bit from the old town. This is the Golden Gate. Because of course you can't visit Split without going to the statue of Grgur Ninski, which we see up here. And what you have to do when you get to him, you kind of can see it. You need to rub this one. That should bring luck. So remember to do that if you're around. If you want to sit in a park with a little bit of shade, here's an option. Jardin. And where you see the red brick up on the top here on the wall, that's basically the northern wall of the palace, That's where you can walk up. If you check out our video about the Diocletian Palace, we explain how you get up there. So, a lot of photo shooting everywhere around. What they're also driving with these ones in here, you know, that's a bit sick. So here, if you go down, that was where we were before, where we had the ice cream. But we're gonna stay in this area. They should renovate this building there. It's a pity it's not done. Pardon? Thank you. And then we're gonna head down this way. This street is literally packed in the evening for two reasons. You have a very popular restaurant, which is called Villa Spisa. You can look it up. Really well known. But the main reason it's packed is this place in here, which is called Charlie's Bar, Backpacker Bar. It's packed here. Another really popular place, Bulgaria restaurant, and you already have people waiting here for ice cream. At this place here, trust me, 10 people standing in line here is absolutely nothing. It gets dramatically worse in the evening hours. So we're gonna turn left here, but basically up here in front of us was where we walked earlier. This was the main pedestrian street, which is up there. So now we're going one street to the left of that one. €12 for a classic burger. That seems reasonable. So now we are down on something called Piazza or Narodny Trg, which is the main square in town, and it's also more or less central in the old town. It's at the end of it. It's the entrance to what was once the palace. Again, same pattern, restaurants, and restaurants. So if you don't get food while you're in Split, it's your own fault. So we're gonna continue up to Peristil from this side. And the one we are walking now is kind of the main street through to the palace. Plenty of eating options to the left, to the right. There's a courtyard down there, a square to the right down there. Okay, a new ice shop. I didn't see that one. So we're gonna go down through the basements and go be back on the Riva. Oh, we need to watch out for the Roman soldiers. So now we're basically, as I said, we are in the basement. which is part of the Diocletian Palace. Which is of course something you should visit when you're here. Walking through it like we do now is of course completely free. And exploring the rest of it, what we saw upstairs, everything is without any entrance fee, so it's one of the few UNESCO sites which you can see without having to pay anything. But there's of course parts of it, if you go to the right here, where there's an entrance fee, where you will see additional parts of the substructures. And I think it's not that expensive, it's like 6-8 euro or something like that to get in there. So definitely doable. We are back where we started the video. Hope you enjoyed this small walk around Split. I just wanted to give you a feeling of how the city is during the summer. Hope you enjoyed it. And please, give the video a like, subscribe to our channel. Until the next one. Thank you very much.